what was the main idea of your today's talk?
Today at the Consciousness Conference, I presented what is a completely new approach to trying to understand how the physical body, which seems to be very material, is able to give rise to something as marvelously different as the mind. And what I did was to present an area of biology which is called complexity biology, which is very much concerned with the details of how a biological organism regulates itself, how it controls itself. And if you think about it, if the mind exists and if the mind does things, it has to be in control of the body. If it wants to raise a hand, it's transmitting instructions through the brain to the muscles to do what is necessary to raise the hand or to speak. Everything that happens is apparently done by the mind. So the question is, how is the mind able to maintain a sense of self, a sense of its own presence in the experience that it has? And there are many scientific opinions on this and many approaches, but the whole question of experience, as we call it, has up to this time very largely been a scientific mystery. The deepest thinkers, as far as I'm concerned, haven't really presented the solution. What they've done is to define the conditions that the solution to the problem would have to obey. The philosopher David Chalmers, for example, says that you can't have a theory to support awareness and consciousness which is basically depending on reducible phenomena, things that can be reduced to atoms and molecules, because as he pointed out in his famous book from 1997, The Conscious Mind, the reducible theories, atoms and molecules, had been attempted to explain consciousness with universal failure or trivialization. They couldn't explain the basic simple fact. What is the simple fact? When you're at school as a pupil, the teacher says, Nadia, or Alex, or present. There's a roll call, and you say, present. What does the word present mean? It means that I have a sense of my own presence. I have a sense of self passing through time, with time, however we express it. We have a sense of time passing and of myself. How does this thing, which is apparently made of atoms and molecules, support that self-awareness, self-aware consciousness? So this has been an ongoing mystery. So what I was presenting in this is the idea that biological organisms are much more sophisticated systems
than what
anyone has given allowance for in the past. And the main thing that distinguishes them from this table or this chair or merely my hand, which I give a fixed stimulus to and I get a fixed response, is that biological organisms give variable responses to a fixed stimulus. This means that they don't behave like machines, they don't behave like mechanisms. They are not mechanisms. They're something much more sophisticated. And you have to describe it in terms of a control system which isn't centered in a stability which gives you a mechanical system. It's centered in an instability which allows for the variable responses to take place. So what I did today was to analyze the nature of information at an instability. And I drew an analogy to fluids. And I showed through a very simple argument. So instead of just having a single information vector, you get a mixture of information vectors tied together by a loop. Now,